Have you ever woken up in the morning, stretched your arms, and thought, my joints feel a little stiffer than they did 10 years ago? Or maybe you've caught yourself thinking, I used to breeze through the day, but now I'm ready for a nap by noon. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Aging brings its own set of changes, some welcome, some let's just say they keep us on our toes. But here's the good news. Getting older doesn't have to mean slowing down or losing your spark. In fact, with the right tools, this chapter of life can be one of the most vibrant and fulfilling yet. That's why today, we're talking about 3 strategies to manage the aging process effectively. These aren't complicated diets or exhausting workout plans, just simple, practical steps you can take to feel stronger, happier, and more in control of your health. Now, let's start with the strategy that's often the hardest to prioritize, but has the biggest ripple effect on everything else movement. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Stay active as you age. But here's the thing. It's not about running marathons or lifting heavy weights, unless that's your thing, of course. It's about finding ways to move your body that feel good and fit into your daily life. Let me tell you about my neighbor, Margaret. She's 72 and swore she'd never set foot in a gym. But last year, she started joining her granddaughter for 10-minute dance sessions in the living room. Just silly, upbeat songs they both love. Fast forward to today. Those 10 minutes turned into 20, then 30. Margaret says it's not just her energy that's improved, it's her mood, her balance. Even her arthritis feels more manageable. Science backs this up, too. Studies show that regular movement, whether it's walking, swimming, or even chair exercises, strengthens muscles, supports heart health, and releases those feel-good chemicals in your brain. But here's the key. Consistency beats intensity every time. So how do you start? Let's keep it simple. First, listen to your body. If your knees protest at the idea of jogging, try a brisk walk or a water aerobics class. If standing for long periods is tough, seated exercises can be just as effective. The goal is to get your blood flowing, not to push yourself to the point of pain. Second, make it social. Join a walking group at your local community center. Invite a friend to try Tai Chi in the park, or even turn household chores into a mini workout by putting on some music and dancing while you dust. When movement feels like connection, not a chore, it's easier to stick with it. And finally, celebrate the small wins. Did you take the stairs instead of the elevator today? Fantastic. Managed 5 minutes of stretching. That counts. Progress isn't about perfection. It's about showing up for yourself, bit by bit. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. But what if I've been inactive for years? Is it too late to start? Let me answer that with a story. A viewer named Carl emailed me last month. He's 78 and hadn't exercised regularly since his 50s. Then, after a fall scared him into action, he began doing 5-minute leg lifts every morning while watching the news. Within a month, he noticed he could get in and out of his car without groaning, and his doctor said his blood pressure had improved. Whether you're 60, 80, or somewhere in between, your body is capable of adapting. The trick is to start where you are, not where you think you should be. So, let's make a pact right here. This week, pick one way to move your body that feels joyful and doable. Maybe it's a stroll around the block after dinner, a gentle yoga video online, or even swaying to your favorite oldies while cooking. Pay attention to how it makes you feel, not just physically, but mentally too. And remember, this is just the beginning, because aging well isn't just about the body. It's about nurturing your mind, your spirit, and the connections that make life meaningful. But we'll save that for our next conversation. Until then, keep taking those small, powerful steps forward. I'm rooting for you. Now, let's talk about something we all do every single day. Something so ordinary. You might not even think of it as a strategy for aging well. But trust me, it's one of the most powerful tools we have, food. You see, what we put on our plates isn't just about satisfying hunger. It's like giving our bodies a daily tune-up. Think of it this way. If movement is the spark that keeps our engine running, then food is the high-quality fuel that makes sure everything hums smoothly. And the best part? You don't need a fancy degree or a complicated recipe to get this right. Let me tell you about my friend, Helen. For years, she ate the same quick meals: toast for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, maybe a frozen dinner if she was tired. Then, after a routine checkup, her doctor mentioned her vitamin D levels were low, and her energy was dipping. Instead of reaching for supplements right away, Helen decided to try something simple, adding one new vegetable to her grocery cart each week. First, it was spinach, tossed into her morning eggs. Then came sweet potatoes, roasted with a dash of cinnamon. Before long, she was experimenting with quinoa salads and lentil soups. 6 months later, Helen said she felt like she'd unstuck herself. Her afternoon slumps faded, her skin glowed, and even her joints felt less achy. The lesson here isn't about dieting or deprivation. It's about curiosity. Small, intentional shifts in how we eat can add up to big changes in how we feel. So where do you start? Let's break it down. First, focus on color. The brighter your plate, the wider the range of nutrients you're giving your body. Those deep reds in tomatoes, they're packed with lycopene, which supports heart health. The orange in carrots, that's beta-carotene, great for your eyes. Even herbs like turmeric or parsley add a punch of antioxidants. Second, keep hydration front and center. As we age, our sense of thirst can dull, and dehydration sneaks up on us, leading to fatigue, fuzzy thinking, or even dizziness. Try keeping a water bottle nearby, or jazz up your H2O with slices of lemon, cucumber, or berries. Herbal teas count too. And third, make meals social. So many of us end up eating alone, especially if we've lost a partner or live far from family. But sharing a meal, even virtually, can boost digestion, mood, and motivation to cook. Invite a friend over for soup night, join a potluck club, or schedule a weekly video call with your grandkids where you all cook the same recipe. Now, I'm not saying you need to overhaul your pantry overnight. Start with one meal. Maybe swap your morning cereal for oatmeal topped with walnuts and blueberries. Or try a meatless Monday with a veggie chili. Even something as simple as sprinkling flaxseed on your yogurt can give your gut a boost of fiber. And if you're thinking, but cooking for one feels like a chore, I get it. That's why batch cooking can be a game changer. Make a big pot of vegetable soup or roasted veggies on Sunday, and you've got meals ready to heat up all week. Here's the thing. Food isn't just about nutrients. It's about joy. It's the smell of fresh basil, the crunch of an apple, the warmth of a shared casserole with an old friend. When we eat with intention and a little creativity, we're not just feeding our bodies, we're nourishing our souls. So this week, I challenge you to try one small, delicious change. Maybe it's adding a handful of spinach to your smoothie, or swapping that afternoon cookie for a handful of almonds and dried cherries. Pay attention to how it makes you feel. Your body will thank you, and so will your taste buds. And remember, aging well isn't just about the fuel we give ourselves or the steps we take. It's also about the way we nurture our hearts and minds. But that's a conversation for next time. Until then, keep savoring life, one bite at a time. There's something I've noticed over the years, something that doesn't show up on blood tests or x-rays, but matters just as much as diet or exercise. It's the spark we feel when we're connected to others, to a purpose, even to ourselves. And that brings us to our third, and perhaps most underrated, strategy for aging well, nurturing your spirit. You see, aging isn't just a physical journey. It's emotional. It's mental. It's about finding meaning in the moments that make up our days. And while that might sound a little abstract, I promise you, it's as practical as lacing up your walking shoes or chopping veggies for a stir-fry. Take my cousin, Frank. After retiring at 65, he spent months feeling adrift. He'd built his identity around his job, and without it, he felt invisible. Then, on a whim, he signed up to tutor kids at the local library. Fast forward a year, Frank's not just teaching math, he's learning chess from the teens, swapping stories with other volunteers, and laughing more than he has in years. Stories like Frank's aren't just heartwarming, they're backed by research. Studies show that seniors who engage in meaningful activities, cultivate relationships, or explore new hobbies tend to live longer, report less chronic pain, and even maintain sharper memories. Why? because purpose and connection aren't just nice to have. They're essential to our well-being. So, how do you nurture your spirit? Let's start with what doesn't work. Comparing your life to someone else's. This isn't about filling every hour with busyness or forcing yourself to be social if you're a natural introvert. It's about tuning into what brings you joy, curiosity, or peace. First, reconnect with old passions or discover new ones. Did you love gardening decades ago but gave it up when life got hectic? Start with a single pot of herbs on your windowsill. Always wanted to try watercolor painting? Grab an affordable set and let yourself play. No need to be Picasso. The goal isn't mastery. It's the simple act of creating. Second, lean into community. That might mean joining a book club, attending a faith group, or even striking up conversations at the grocery store. And if getting out feels tough, technology can help. Video calls with faraway family, online forums for hobbyists, or virtual museum tours. Loneliness isn't a given as we age, but fighting it takes intention. Finally, get back in small, sustainable ways. Volunteer an hour a week at an animal shelter. Knit hats for preemies. Share family recipes with your grandkids. When we contribute, no matter how modestly, we remind ourselves, I matter. My time here matters. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what if I'm not sure what brings me joy anymore? That's okay. Start with curiosity. Try one thing. A short online class. A visit to a new cafe. A morning spent journaling. Pay attention to what makes you lean in. What makes time feel lighter. And don't underestimate the power of quiet moments either. Sitting on a porch with a cup of tea, watching the sunrise, or even jotting down 3 things you're grateful for each day. These small acts can anchor us in the present, which is where life truly happens. So let's tie this all together. We've talked about moving your body in ways that feel good, fueling yourself with colorful, nourishing foods, and tending to your spirit through connection and purpose. These aren't rules, they're invitations. Invitations to experiment, to adapt, to embrace this chapter of life with kindness and courage. If you take away one thing from our time together, let it be this. Aging isn't about fighting time. It's about making peace with it and finding moments of wonder along the way. Maybe it's the satisfaction of growing your own tomatoes, the pride of nailing a new yoga pose, or the warmth of a long phone call with an old friend. Those moments, they're the building blocks of a life well lived. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one small change you've tried or plan to try after watching this series? Share your stories in the comments below. Let's inspire each other. And if you found this helpful, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our future chats. Remember, friends, every wrinkle tells a story. Every gray hair is a badge of resilience. And every day is a chance to write a new page in yours. Here's to living fully, boldly, and unapologetically at any age.